What if Earth's day lasted 48 hours? Have you ever wondered what would happen if Earth rotated more slowly than it does today? Imagine a world where a single day doesn't last 24 hours but maybe 30, 40, or even 48. Before we dive deeper, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss fascinating what-if explorations like this one. Our planet currently spins once every 24 hours, giving us the day-night cycle we rely on. But what if Earth's rotation slowed down, stretching our days and nights far beyond what we know? The very first change would be obvious: longer days and nights. Instead of 12 hours of daylight and 12 of darkness on average, we could experience 20 hours of light followed by 20 hours of night, or even longer. For humans, that means sleep cycles would be completely disrupted. Our internal body clocks, or circadian rhythms, are wired to the 24-hour cycle. Extending that cycle could cause insomnia, fatigue, or even new biological adaptations over generations. Imagine waking up to a sunrise that takes hours to fully climb the horizon. The slow rotation would make dawn and dusk dramatically longer, painting the skies with extended golden colors. Beautiful, yes, but also a sign of deeper changes to come. Gray culture would be heavily affected. Crops are adapted to 24-hour cycles of light and darkness. Longer days could cause overheating and excessive water loss, while longer nights might stunt growth and photosynthesis. Farmers would need to develop new farming methods, perhaps using artificial light during extended nights or shading systems during scorching days. Food production could become unstable, impacting the entire global economy. But the effects wouldn't stop there. Weather patterns are closely linked to Earth's rotation. A slower spin means weaker Coriolis forces, which normally help create winds and storm systems. With weaker Coriolis forces, hurricanes and cyclones might form differently, or even less frequently. That could sound like good news, but it also means climate zones would shift in unpredictable ways. Oceans would respond dramatically. The spin of the Earth helps shape currents like the Gulf Stream. With slower rotation, ocean currents might weaken, disrupting the transport of heat across the globe. This could lead to extreme climate changes, scorching equators, frozen poles, and chaotic seasonal shifts. Entire ecosystems would be forced to adapt or face collapse. Animals, too, would feel the impact. Nocturnal creatures would suddenly face nights twice as long, while diurnal animals would endure days that never seem to end. Their hunting, feeding, and mating behaviors would shift, or species might die out entirely. Humans would adapt with technology. Artificial lighting during extended nights would become essential. Air conditioning and cooling systems would be mandatory during drawn-out, blazing afternoons. Energy demand would skyrocket. Longer nights mean more electricity for lighting, while longer hot days mean more cooling systems in use. Power grids would face massive pressure. Economies could even reshape themselves. Work schedules might extend to take advantage of longer daylight, or shorten to avoid extreme heat during midday. A day might no longer mean 24 hours of work and rest. But the most fascinating impact might be on our psychology. Imagine living through a sunrise that lasts 3 hours. People might feel time itself is stretched, altering our sense of productivity, rest, and even creativity. Cultures might develop new ways of measuring time. Instead of 24 hours, perhaps societies would use 30-hour days, with different concepts of morning, afternoon, and night. Religions and traditions tied to the sun's movement would also shift. Festivals, rituals, and even astrology would transform to match the new celestial rhythm. Space exploration might be influenced as well. Astronomers rely on Earth's rotation for calculations, observations, and satellite timing. A slower spin could force a total recalibration of how we study the skies. Speaking of satellites, GPS systems depend on precise timing linked to Earth's rotation. Longer days could disrupt synchronization, requiring massive technological upgrades worldwide. But why would Earth slow down in the first place? Natural forces like tidal friction from the moon are already gradually slowing our planet. In fact, days on Earth get a little longer every century. Millions of years ago, a day lasted only about 22 hours. In the distant future, days could indeed stretch beyond 24 hours, though it may take billions of years. So this scenario isn't pure fantasy. It's a glimpse into a possible future of our planet. But let's take it further. If Earth rotated much more slowly, say once every 48 hours, Half the planet would bake under continuous sunlight, while the other half would freeze in darkness. Such extremes could make large regions uninhabitable. Humans might retreat to twilight zones areas where the sun is always near the horizon, creating narrow belts of survivable land. Cities might be built along these twilight regions, with advanced technology regulating temperature, light, and food production. Transportation would also change. Airlines, shipping, and even daily commutes would need new time systems, since sunrise and sunset would no longer match human schedules. The human body might eventually evolve. Perhaps future generations could adapt to 30-hour or 40-hour circadian rhythms, sleeping longer or staying awake for extended periods. Or maybe, instead of evolving biologically, we would rely entirely on technology artificial habitats, controlled lighting, and genetic engineering to cope with the new rotation cycle. Imagine skyscrapers with artificial skies, simulating 24-hour days for workers and residents, while outside, the real world experiences endless light or darkness. Energy production might evolve too. Solar panels would generate much more power during extended daylight, but storage systems would need to handle extremely long nights. Wind and hydro energy could weaken, since slower Earth rotation affects global circulation patterns. Humanity might depend heavily on nuclear fusion or new energy sources. Global politics would also shift. Nations near the equator might suffer unbearable heat, while polar regions could freeze harder than ever. Migration could spark conflict over habitable zones, but human creativity often thrives in adversity. Just as we adapted to ice ages and deserts, we might find brilliant solutions to life under a slower spinning Earth. Science fiction could become science reality. Underground cities, floating habitats on oceans, or even colonies on other planets, driven by Earth's growing instability. The psychological impact might be the greatest challenge. With longer days, humans could feel more isolated, disconnected from the natural rhythm that has guided us for millennia. Nighttime would feel eternal, and daytime unbearably long. Depression, anxiety, and insomnia could rise unless technology helps maintain artificial balance. Yet there's beauty in this vision. Longer days mean longer sunsets, more time to enjoy starlit skies, and extended golden hours that could inspire new forms of art, culture, and storytelling. So would a slower spinning Earth be a nightmare or an opportunity for humanity to reinvent itself? The answer might lie in how adaptable we truly are. And now it's your turn to imagine. What would you do if a single day lasted 48 hours? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more mind-bending what-if scenarios, and join us as we keep exploring the endless possibilities of our universe.